Hey guys, so we're back and we today are going to be discussing a topic which was actually submitted to us from one of our viewers. So shout out to you. So what we're going to be discussing is the question: why do women still talk to their ex-boyfriends? And at what point do you stop talking to your ex-boyfriends? And this obviously is very prevalent in many women's lives. So I guess I'll go first. Okay. So, okay. Why women still talk to their ex-boyfriends? I think initially it's because, I don't know, I feel like it depends on how the breakup went. If it was one of those breakups where it's just like, oh, you know, we're ending, and it was no like firm split, and it just goes back to normal and you revert back to what you know, especially when it's been something you've been in for so long. It's kind of just like, you know, that's what you know. And you kind of long for that person or whatever the case may be. And also, sometimes you're not exactly ready to just make that clean break. And it's hard for you to accept everything that has happened in the situation. And I mean, personally, especially if you got that good, you know what I'm saying? You might not even be longing for the entire relationship. You're longing for that one aspect of it. And that keeps you on a person too. For me, I don't know if there's an exact time period where you can say is a good time to stop talking to that ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Obviously, if you're trying to be real serious about it and really move on from the point, you probably should end contact immediately and just keep it pushing. Because I feel like for me, I've had a situation where, you know, you continue being friends and you obviously were more than friends at one point, and you can't really revert back to just being friends after you cross that line, especially intimately, because it's always going to be a little bit more than what it should be. So, I don't know, that's my perspective or thoughts for the moment.
I guess I can say for me, the situations that I've been in, I don't think I'm even friends with any of the guys I used to talk to. Like, I'm just the kind of person that, and maybe it's because of the situations that I've been in and the way that it ended. Like, I'm like, I don't need to be your friend. Like, we don't need to talk anymore. Our chapter is done. That book is closed. We just move on. So, like, when I'm done with the situation, I just move on. I think the point where a person should stop talking to their ex is, like you said, dependent on the situation, dependent on how that person ended or how the relationship ended. But also, I think you would have to keep in mind as well, like, if you're in a relationship, like, let's say you get into a relationship with somebody else and you don't want to still be friends with your ex, like, that wouldn't be comfortable. Because if the situation was reversed, I definitely would not be cool with my boyfriend being cool with their ex-girlfriend, even if they're like, oh, we're best friends and, like, we're just kicking it.
Shit don't work.
There's no kind of way. So,
brother and sister.
I think that if you guys ended on if y'all ended on a positive note, then I guess, like, there's a reason that you guys were together. Like, I guess there are things that you can bring up in that friendship that you all had in your relationship that, you know, kept you all together. But to flip it, like, if we broke up, there's a reason that the situation didn't work at all. So if you were trifling in the relationship, then I don't need to, exactly, I don't need to be a friend to you. Like, there was somebody that I was with that I found out after we broke up that he was cheating on me with somebody, and I was like, whoa, ain't this about a... But, like, we had at one point tried to establish a relationship, and I'm glad that we didn't. Like, we're cool now. I don't have any problems with him because I was young and dumb. I don't know why. But yeah, I just think that being in a situation, it's a case by case situation. But for me personally, I don't have any exes that I'm still friends with.
For me, the answer to the why would be because old habits die hard. So obviously, if you were dating someone for a long period of time, that person was a big part of your life. So to cut them off, like Lindsay said, would be a task. It's going to keep my answer really short. And to the time frame as to when you should stop talking to an ex, I feel as though the second you decide that they should be an ex, you should probably cut your losses. Because, I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to do that, but I feel like if you're just keeping them around doing stuff, it's probably going to do more harm than good. So the second you decide that they should no longer be in that position in your life, then you should probably cut ties.
Mm-hmm.
I think another point that Lindsay brought up is the whole sex situation. I mean, I don't have a situation where I like broke up with somebody and it's like with them, but like when you find somebody that you're like sexual, that you have a sexual connection with, it's very compatible with. It's very very important, and so to like let that go, at times it gets very very hard. And so like if you're not in a rush to put yourself into a situation with somebody else, it could be like, oh well, you know, I'm comfortable with this person. This person knows what I like. I know what they like. So let me kind of go ahead and like go back into that situation. So I definitely understand like why that would be a reason that you would want to still stay with that person or still be friends with that person, but it's not always best. And in the end, like I'm just that type of person that believes that even though, and I'm probably one of the biggest proponents that's like you can have sex and like no strings attached and there's no feelings and the girl's like okay, but I don't think that that's true. I think that we as women, I think it's just the way that we're made up as females, like we are just more emotional than men, so we can try to say that we're cool with the situation, but a lot of times we're not cool with the situation. It's on a different topic.
Yeah, because we're gonna go on and single limit.
Well, my whole perspective is
I don't know why.
I just understand if somebody would want to connect with that person, but it may not be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, viewer who requested this topic, I hope we answered your question and keep the topics rolling. Till next time.
Flatbush, bed style, bushwhack.